Most people aren't broken, they're simply overwhelmed. Your inner peace hasn't disappeared. It's just buried beneath habits you no longer notice. The Buddha once said, "Nothing can harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." And it's true. The mind creates storms that never needed to exist. Today we're going to uncover 6 daily habits that quietly block your peace. And I'll show you how to gently release each one. Because when you clear the noise, your natural calm rises on its own. Habit number 1, overthinking every situation. Overthinking is one of the most common ways people lose their inner peace. It begins quietly. One small worry, one tiny doubt, and before you realize it, your mind has built an entire storm out of a single cloud. Mental spirals create constant inner noise. You replay conversations long after they're over. Did I say the wrong thing? Do they think I'm strange? You imagine worst-case scenarios before anything even happens. What if I fail? What if it goes wrong? The mind does this because it craves control. It believes that if it thinks enough, predicts enough, analyzes enough, it can prevent pain. But the truth is the opposite. Overthinking creates the very suffering it's trying to avoid. Buddhist wisdom teaches an essential truth. The mind is a storyteller, not a truth teller. It invents narratives, fills in gaps, exaggerates fears, and paints illusions. Most of what you're afraid of is not reality. It's just a story your mind is telling to feel safer. Emotionally aware people learn to step out of this story, and you can too. Here is a simple Buddhist practice to interrupt the mental spiral. Name the thought, then let it pass. Instead of merging with the fear, say, "I'm having a worried thought, I'm having an insecure thought, I'm having a future-thinking thought." The moment you name it, you create distance. You are no longer inside the storm. You are the observer, watching it pass. Thoughts lose their power when you stop treating them as truth. You don't have to silence your mind. You just have to stop believing every story it tells. When the mind quiets, even for a moment, peace begins to return. Habit number 2, carrying expectations on your back. Expectations are one of the heaviest burdens we carry, yet most of the time we don't even realize we're carrying them. They sit quietly on our backs. How people should treat us, how life should unfold, how plans should go exactly the way we imagined. This silent pressure slowly drains our inner peace. The Buddha said, "Attachment is the root of suffering," and expectations are a form of attachment, gripping tightly to a version of reality that exists only in our minds. Think about it. You expect someone to appreciate your effort, and they don't. You expect a friend to be thoughtful, and they disappoint you. You expect life to follow your timeline, and it chooses its own. The pain doesn't come from what happened. It comes from the gap between your expectation and reality. Emotionally aware people understand this deeply. They don't demand that life matches their script. Instead, they soften around what is. They shift from controlling to allowing. Peace comes not from forcing reality, but from flowing with it. This doesn't mean lowering your standards or accepting harmful behavior. It means letting go of the rigid belief that things must look a certain way for you to feel at ease. Here is a simple practice to lighten the burden. Loosen the grip. When you notice yourself getting tense, frustrated, or disappointed, pause and ask, "What expectation was I holding just now?" Then breathe gently and imagine your hand releasing a tight fist, opening, softening, letting go. When the grip loosens, the heart relaxes, and in that softening, inner peace naturally returns. Expectation tightens, acceptance frees. Habit number 3, absorbing other people's emotions. One of the fastest ways to lose your inner peace is by absorbing emotions that were never yours to carry. You know this feeling. Someone walks into the room angry, tense, or anxious, and suddenly you feel heavy too. Your shoulders tighten, your chest contracts, your mind becomes unsettled even though nothing happened to you personally. This emotional entanglement is exhausting, but many people mistake it for compassion. Compassion is understanding someone's suffering. It is offering presence, kindness, or support. But taking on their emotions, wearing their anger, stress, or sadness like it is your own, is not compassion. It is self-abandonment. Buddhist wisdom teaches a powerful boundary: compassion with wisdom. Care deeply, yes. Be present, yes. But keep your inner space clear. Think of it this way: when someone is angry, they are carrying a storm inside them. You can stand beside them with an umbrella, but you don't need to step into their storm. Here's a very common example. A coworker snaps at you. You immediately feel tense. Their frustration jumps into your body as if it belongs there. But emotionally aware people pause and remind themselves, this emotion is not mine. This simple phrase creates distance. It keeps your heart open while keeping your peace protected. Here is the practice. When someone near you is emotional, angry, stressed, or overwhelmed, take a breath and silently say, their emotion is their weather, not my climate. This emotion is not mine. You are not cold. You are not selfish. You are simply choosing to stay rooted in your own center. Compassion does not require you to drown. It asks you to remain steady. And from steadiness, true peace grows. Habit number 4, constant digital stimulation. We live in a world where silence feels strange and stillness feels uncomfortable. The moment we sense even a hint of boredom or emptiness, our hand reaches for the phone almost automatically. Endless scrolling, endless notifications, endless stimulation. And without even realizing it, our nervous system becomes overwhelmed and exhausted. Your phone has become the modern source of craving. Every swipe, every ping, every new post triggers a tiny spark of anticipation. Maybe someone messaged me, maybe someone liked my photo, maybe there's something new to distract me from myself. This constant stimulation pulls you away from your inner world. It scatters your attention, weakens your focus, and slowly separates you from your own peace. Think of how many times you check your notifications, not because you need to, but because you want a momentary sense of connection or validation. It becomes a loop. You seek a dopamine hit, but all it brings is restlessness. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that presence is the only refuge. When your mind is constantly pulled outward, you lose the chance to return inward, where calmness, clarity, and wisdom live. Emotionally aware people set gentle boundaries with their digital world, not out of discipline, but out of love for their own peace. Here is a simple practice to reconnect: the digital pause ritual. Every time you feel the urge to check your phone, pause for 3 seconds. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself, do I need this, or am I escaping something? Most of the time, the craving dissolves the moment you bring awareness to it. Technology isn't the enemy. Unconscious use is. When you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your peace. Habit number 5, speaking harshly to yourself. One of the deepest wounds we carry is not from what others say to us, but from what we silently say to ourselves. Your inner voice becomes the background sound of your life. And when that voice is harsh, critical, or unkind, your peace slowly fades without you noticing. Inner criticism doesn't stay as words. Over time, it becomes identity. When you keep telling yourself, I'm not enough, I'm so lazy, I always mess up, your mind begins to believe it. You stop seeing who you are and start seeing only the flaws you repeat. The Buddha taught, what you think, you become. This isn't poetic, it's psychological. Your thoughts carve pathways in your mind, and the more you walk them, the more automatic they become. A harsh inner voice doesn't motivate you. It weakens you, it tightens your chest, drains your energy, and makes peace impossible. True inner peace requires inner gentleness. It requires speaking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. Imagine a child who is learning, trying, struggling. You wouldn't tell them you're worthless or you'll never get it right. You would guide them gently, encourage them softly, and remind them of their worth. You deserve the same compassion. Here is a simple practice. Speak to yourself as you would a child. When you catch your inner voice attacking you, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I'm trying to protect? If the answer is no, soften your tone. Replace harshness with understanding. Replace judgment with patience. Inner gentleness is not weakness. It is the doorway to peace. When your inner voice becomes kinder, your entire world feels lighter. Habit number 6, rushing through your day without presence. One of the most subtle ways people lose their inner peace is by rushing. Moving fast becomes a lifestyle. Eating quickly, walking quickly, thinking 3 steps ahead while your body is still here. At first, it feels productive, but over time, speed disconnects you from reality. You've probably experienced this. You finish a meal and barely remember tasting it. You arrive somewhere and don't recall the path you took. You spend the whole day thinking about tomorrow and then wonder why life feels empty or blurry. Peace cannot be found in the future. It only exists in the place your feet are touching right now. Buddhist wisdom teaches that to be awake is to be here, not in tomorrow's plans, not in yesterday's worries, but in this breath, this moment, this simple point in time. When you rush, you miss the very life you're trying so hard to manage. Your mind lives in one world, your body lives in another. And this split creates inner tension, a sense that something is always unfinished, always out of reach. Emotionally aware people slow down intentionally, not because life gives them the chance to, but because they choose it. Here is a simple practice you can use anytime, the 10-second sensory grounding. Pause for just 10 seconds. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the temperature of the air. Listen to one sound around you. Take one gentle breath. In those 10 seconds, your mind and body reconnect. Your awareness returns. Your peace rises. You don't need an hour of meditation. You just need to come back again and again to the moment you are living. Presence is not slow. Presence is real. Today, we uncovered 6 daily habits that quietly block your inner peace. Overthinking, expectations, absorbing other people's emotions, digital overload, harsh self-talk, and rushing through life. Remember, peace isn't something you create. It's something you uncover when you let these habits soften and dissolve. Choose just one habit to practice releasing each day. Small shifts lead to deep transformation. If this video brought you clarity, subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom, inner peace, and mindful living. And always remember, when your habits quiet down, your peace rises on its own,